I am meteorologist Nolan, and I am here to report from Mobile County Public Schools live to give you a lesson today about the weather and reading, of course. All right, so if you are wondering what the weather is like today, our weather forecast today is cloudy with a chance of author's purpose. And as you can see, I have some rain clouds here. It is raining on my parade today, but that's all right. So today, Miss Nolan is going to continue to teach you we're going to keep working on the same reading skill that we started last week, all right? And that is to determine the main purpose that an author writes a story, including to inform, explain, or describe, all right? And we know that that's just kind of like a fancier way to talk about author's purpose. And remember, we learned last week there are 3 main reasons that an author might write a story. Does anybody remember? Yes, that's right. What did the P stand for? To persuade, good. What did the I stand for? To inform. And the E stands for to entertain. Persuade, inform, entertain. And remember, we talked about how PI is like an acronym for determining the author's purpose. Okay? So, before we get started, I want you to refresh my memory of what these mean. So, if an author writes a story to persuade, what does that mean? Yes, okay. To persuade means the author is trying to get you to do or try something. Good job. Did y'all read any persuasive books over the weekend? Maybe, maybe not. All right, so persuade is when the author is trying to get you to do or try something. What about inform? This is easy. Inform is just a bigger word for to give you information. That's right. So if an author writes an informative story, an informational story, the author is just trying to give you information and teach you facts. And we actually are going to be reading an informational story today because our standard focuses largely on informational text. So that's what we're going to be reading today. And then entertain. If an author writes a story to just entertain you, what does that mean? Yes, okay, that means the author is trying to make you enjoy the story just for fun, right? By keeping the reader's attention. Sometimes stories that entertain us might make us really happy, they might make us sad, but ultimately, we enjoy them and they keep our attention, right? Okay, so before we read our story today, okay, I need your help. I need some help from some really good meteorologists out there, and I know that's you, a wonderful second grader. All right, so we are going to be popping our rain clouds today, okay? So you might want to close your ears because it's definitely going to be loud, but we are inside of my rain clouds, I have a treat. Okay, inside of the rain clouds, there are different covers of some books, all right? And once I pop the rain cloud, something's going to fly out, okay? We don't know where it's going to land, but it's going to fly out of the rain cloud, okay? And then we are going to sort them under either persuade, inform, or entertain, okay? All right, so here we go. All right, we'll just do one for like a test run, and then I want your help picking which one I should do next. Okay, so we'll just do this first one. It's a really rainy rain. Okay, I'm kind of scared. Okay, here we go. Ready? Woo! All right, see, it's going to fly out. Here we go. We got it, and I actually have it here too. Okay, so we have don't let the pigeon drive the bus. So don't let the pigeon drive the bus. If you don't want somebody to do something, you're being very persuasive. That's right. And those are kind of soggy looking and because it's in that rain cloud. So I've got a fresh one for us here. But don't let the pigeon drive the bus. We're trying to persuade the pigeon to not do something, right? So that is an example of a persuasive story. All right, next up. You ready? Okay, you got to tell me which one I need to do. Which one y'all want me to do? A white one? Okay, let's do this one. Ready? Woo! Oh no! Okay, that's okay. All right, let's see what we got. Crazy rain clouds here. All right, I wanna iguana. So if you really, really, really want something, you're going to do what? Persuade somebody to get it for you, right? So we talked about how you might try to persuade your dad or your mom or whoever to get you a dog, right? Well, in this story, this little boy really wants an iguana. So that is another example of a persuasive story. And I really don't know which one's which, so here we go. Let's do another one. All right, maybe we can get a different type. Maybe we can get one to either inform or explain. All right, let's do this one. Ready? Woo-hoo! These rain clouds. All right, here we go. Llama destroys the world. What? Llama destroys the world. So what do you think? Persuade, inform, or entertain? Entertain, right? Is a llama really going to destroy the world? No, okay, that's just funny. That's just a funny story to keep our attention that we would really enjoy. And I've actually read that book to my class during this distance learning, and it's super, super good. So you might want to check that one out. All right, here we go. Next up, let's do a white one. Here we go. I'm going to go for this one. You ready? Woo-hoo! That was a good one. All right, we have who was Jackie Robinson? Who was Jackie Robinson? So think about this, okay? Persuade, give us information, or entertain. Inform, that's right. We're going to get more information about Jackie Robinson, who was a famous baseball player. All right, there we go. We have one to inform. Good, good, good. All right, next up, hope y'all are having fun popping these rain clouds. Okay, and this is something that I'm going to go ahead and say this, but you could do this at home. If you have some balloons, get your parents or whoever to put some comprehension questions after you read a story inside a balloon, and it would be so fun to pop them and get the question so you can answer it, all right? Just ways to make reading fun. All right, here we go. Woo! All right. Next up, we have weird sea creatures. Weird sea creatures. All right, what do y'all think? Persuade, woo. All right, persuade, inform, or entertain? Inform, that's right. We're going to get information about some weird, that sea creature looks really weird. Okay, and I know a lot of y'all are probably really interested in like stories about animals. I know that my class was, so this could be one that you would really be interested in to give you more information, right? All right, a couple more. All right, here we go. Let's do a white one. I'm going to get this one right here. Ready, and pop! All right, this is fun. All right, we have planets. Planets. Do any of y'all like learning about outer space and planets? All right, what do y'all think? Persuade, inform, or entertain? Inform. Good job. That's right. Okay, giving us more information and teaching us, giving us facts about planets. All right, here we go. I'm kind of sweating up here. It's a hard job for a meteorologist. Okay, here we go. I'm going to come over to this one over here. Ready, and woo-hoo! All right. This is so exciting. Okay, we have Pig the Stinker. Have y'all ever read any books about Pig the Pug? I love Pig the Pug. Pig the Stinker. What do you think? Where would it belong? Entertain. That's right. That's just funny. Okay, that's just a silly story. Pig the Stinker. All right, two more. Here we go. Which one y'all want me to do? White or blue? White or blue? White or blue? Blue? Okay. Here we go. All right, look at all these raindrops coming out of my clouds and woo-hoo! All right, we have My Teacher for President. Yes, My Teacher for President. All right, so if you really, really, really wanted your teacher to be the president, what would you have to do? You would have to persuade some people, right, and give them reasons why you think your teacher should be the president. So this one would be persuade. Good job. All right, and our last one. You ready? Last but not least, we have one nasty rain cloud out there. Cloudy with a chance of, oh, woo! All right, where'd it go? Okay, here we go. Cloudy with a chance of, piranhas don't eat bananas. What? Piranhas don't eat bananas. What do you think? Persuade, inform, or entertain? Entertain. Good job. That looks silly. Piranhas don't eat bananas. Okay. So there we have it. All right. So, okay. That's what we just sorted different books trying to decide whether they were to persuade, inform, or entertain us, okay? And hopefully you kind of see how the definitions of each of these match with the book, okay? Like, for example, these, okay, about planets, that's just teaching us facts and giving us information. Don't let the pigeon drive the bus. So they're trying to persuade us to not let that happen, to try to get us to do something else. And then over here, these are just silly and fun, just to keep our attention, right? All right, but today we are going to read a story called Hurricanes, okay? And we should be real familiar with this because we live in Alabama on the coast, right? And so we do experience hurricanes, all right? So this is an informational story, so it's just going to give us more information and more facts about hurricanes. And this was written by Gail Gibbons. And I thought this was a perfect book today for my meteorologists and for the weather. But let's learn, see if we can learn some things that maybe we didn't already know about hurricanes. And I really love the pictures because I think that they do a wonderful job of really kind of helping us to dive into the story and feel like we're right in the middle of a hurricane. All right? Here we go. The wind, and close your eyes because this is also another story where you could really do some like visualizing, okay? All right. The winds are howling. The rain is pouring down. Violent waves are crashing onto the shore. A dangerous spinning storm has formed over tropical waters. It is a hurricane making landfall. Wow, look at that boat being tossed around in the waves, and see how the palm trees are leaning over because the wind is so strong. Things are blowing into the air. Hurricane. All hurricanes form over tropical waters. Warm water evaporates and rises into the atmosphere. The warm, moist air spins upward, creating a draft that sucks up more moisture. If the water temperature is more than 80 degrees Fahrenheit, the cycle continues. So if the water is really warm, it's going to continue to happen. Winds get stronger. As the moist air rises, very tall this is a big word, cumulonimbus, that's a type of cloud, cumulonimbus clouds are formed. Okay, that's a type. So this is an example of a cumulonimbus cloud. Looks kind of dark and scary, doesn't it? And so that water is evaporating, which means it's turning the water into moist air. The rising air creates even more of an updraft. Even more moisture rises, creating even larger cumulonimbus clouds that hold even more water. The spinning of the air accelerates. Okay, starts going faster, starts to spin, spin, spin. Even larger groups of cumulonimbus clouds continue to build up. So do you notice more clouds? Yeah, okay, it's starting to look a little scarier. Condensation causes rain, and condensation is when the moist, warm air, so when the warm air turns into rain. When the speed of the wind reaches 74 miles per hour, the storm is classified as a hurricane. Okay, so a hurricane is starting to form. That's where hurricanes form, out in the water, because all of those things that we just read about have to happen. Most hurricanes are about 100 miles to 300 miles wide. Whoa. The center of a hurricane is called do you know? The eye. Yes, that's right, which is clear and calm. The eye of a hurricane looks like there's nothing wrong. It's very clear and calm. It may be 10 to 20 miles wide, so the eye of the hurricane is not that wide. The strongest winds in a hurricane usually surround the eye of the storm in an area called the eye wall. So the eye might look very clear and calm, but surrounding that is the strongest winds. And hopefully you're learning a little bit about hurricanes that you didn't already know. Most hurricanes form over the Atlantic Ocean north of the equator. And the equator is just that imaginary line. My kids love learning about that imaginary line. They usually last about a week and often travel on a westward course. So this, see right here? That's our hurricane, and it's traveling, okay? And it's kind of showing us where it might head. They normally travel westward. Many hurricanes have devastated cities and towns with strong winds. Usually there are heavy rains and flooding. Storm surges are huge walls of water forced up out of the sea, devastating everything in their path, and on occasion, altering the shoreline itself. Now, I know a big thing that we learn in second grade is about weathering and erosion, and hurricanes are a huge part of that. They cause devastating damage to the shores of our beaches and things like that. In 1972, Herbert Saffir and Robert Simpson developed the Saffir-Simpson Hurricane Wind Scale. This scale ranks hurricanes in categories of 1 to 5. Satellites, observations, and computer models help meteorologists like me at the National Hurricane Center predict the likely impact of an approaching hurricane. So these meteorologists, people who study the weather, are at this hurricane center, which is actually located in Miami, Florida, and they are trying to track these hurricanes and rank them from 1 to 5. Surely you've heard like, oh, a category 1, a category 5, you know, and that's how you know how serious it is. Category 1 hurricanes have wind speeds between 74 miles per hour and 95 miles per hour. There is some damage to trees and small buildings. So a category 1 is still serious, but it's not the worst. But as you can see from the picture, they still do damage. Category 2 hurricanes have wind speeds between 96 and 110 miles per hour. Coastal roads flood and there is moderate damage. Okay, so we see some flooding. Oh my goodness. Still these trees are leaning sideways. Kind of did some damage to the road. So that's a category 2. Then we have category 3 hurricanes have wind speeds between 111 miles per hour and 129 miles per hour. Trees are uprooted. Large cars and trucks are swept away. Oh my goodness. There is extensive damage to buildings and boats. So a category 3 is definitely more serious. Okay, then we have category 4, which have wind speeds between 130 and 156 miles per hour. The destruction is devastating. Buildings suffer extreme damage. Roads and bridges are washed away. Boats are tossed about like toys. And I just really get lost in the pictures here as I'm reading because you can just see how bad the damage is in like a category 4 hurricane. And remember, pictures are just as important as words whenever we are reading. We can get a lot of good information from our pictures whenever we're reading stories. Category 5, the worst of the worst. Hurricanes have winds greater than 157 miles per hour, but they have been recorded at more than 200 miles per hour. There is massive flooding and destruction. So look, they're having to rescue people. That little person is on top of their roof. Oh my goodness, because the flooding is so bad. It's kind of scary. Hurricanes come ashore. Most hurricanes do their damage in the Caribbean and along the Gulf Coast, which is where we live, and the southeast coast of the United States. And if you look right there, look, that right there, that's us in Alabama, okay? And do you see how these states are they're in yellow? Because that's where hurricanes tend to hit the most. Most hurricanes are category 1 or 2, so we don't got to worry too much about those. Category 5 hurricanes are rare and have reached land on an average of once every 5 years. So we don't have to worry about those as much, but we do need to be prepared, right? We always have to be prepared. Some hurricanes throughout history. So these are some major hurricanes that have devastated us throughout history. In Galveston, Texas on September 8th, 1900, okay, I was not born yet, obviously. All right, in 1900, the biggest city in Texas was Galveston. On September 8th, a huge hurricane struck. The storm surge was 20 feet high. The waves got over 20 feet high. It totally destroyed the city, killing about 12,000 people. Scientists later classified it as a Category 5 hurricane. Serious. Hurricane Andrew was in August 24th, 1992. I still was not born yet, but neither were you. After crossing the Bahamas, Hurricane Andrew hit Florida south of Miami with winds up to 195 miles per hour. At that time, it was the costliest hurricane in U.S. history. Most of the damage was done by the fierce winds. Originally classified as a Category 4 hurricane, it was reclassified as a Category 5. So they reclassified it because of the damage that it did. Hurricane Katrina. This was in August of 2005. I was alive. And maybe you were. I don't really know. All right, maybe you're, obviously, here we go. All right, so the most damaging hurricane in U.S. history was Hurricane Katrina. It started in the Bahamas, then crossed southern Florida as a Category 1 hurricane. On August 29th, it made its final landfall northeast of New Orleans as a powerful Category 3 hurricane. Storm surges resulted in the flooding of 80% of New Orleans. More than 1 million people had to evacuate and 1,200 people lost their lives. Catastrophic damage was done all along the coastlines of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, which is where we live. So people had to evacuate, which means they had to leave to go to another safe place. Meteorologists gather information about hurricanes from many sources. Satellites measure the size of a hurricane and can help tell how fast and what direction it's moving. Airplanes are also flown into hurricanes. These people are known as hurricane hunters, and they use special instruments to measure wind speed, temperature, and the moisture in the clouds. So they go right through the eye of a hurricane. Now, all of the storms detailed are gathered and fed into computers, and it helps scientists to predict where it may land and fall. These predictions help determine if an area will need to be evacuated. All right, I'm kind of speeding up here because I'm almost out of time, but we need to know the difference between a hurricane watch and a warning. A watch just tells us that a hurricane might hit, but a warning is that a hurricane is pretty much going to hit and you need to be prepared. All right, so this is all about how they name hurricanes, okay? And they go in alphabetical order every year, which is pretty cool, okay? Now, we need to make sure that we are prepared whenever a hurricane is about to hit. We have to have water, non-perishable foods, flashlights, fresh batteries, and all that good stuff, okay? So, knowing all of that information, we have to make sure we're prepared for hurricanes. All right? So, I hope you enjoyed our informational story about hurricanes today. Obviously, if we were going to sort our book Hurricanes, where would it go? Persuade, inform, or entertain? Inform, that's right. I'm going to stick it right there. Okay, and make sure you're reading both types of books, because informational stories are very important for us to be reading. I know it might be more fun sometimes to read stories that entertain and persuade us, but we also have to make sure that we're really diving into that informational text, because it is just as important, okay? And maybe at home you can try my balloon popping activity, or maybe it'd be something fun for you. And I will see y'all back on Thursday. No, is today Thursday? Today's Thursday, isn't it? Today's, okay. Today's Thursday, so I'll see y'all back on Monday, okay? All right, bye, have a wonderful weekend.